Okay, so things just really got serious between Blueface mom Carissa and Chrisean because Carissa just came out to make some disturbing comments about how Chrisean is allegedly involved in the of her ex-boyfriend Ronnie. Now we know that Clarissa and Sean do not see eye to eye and don't like each other very much. But these new allegations are shocking to say the least. Ronnie has been making waves in the past couple of months because he claimed that Chan's son Chrisean Jr. is his son and not Blueface's. He claimed to have some evidence to support his claim. It was on the path to getting a court-ordered DNA test to prove paternity when he was tragically right in the front of his house, and it didn't take long for Carl Leah to jump in and claim that Chan allegedly knows something about it, hinting that Chan might have set the whole thing up to protect her secret. This is a whole mess. So let's break it down now. Carissa has a knack for always finding her way to weave herself into situations that do not concern her. It was like she just couldn't resist to get involved, and even when it had nothing to do with her she made it clear that she wasn't a fan at Chrisean, but that wasn't the extent of her issues. Her relationship with Blueface's other baby mama Jaden Alexis was just as intense. It was very clear that they weren't exactly friends, and that the back and forth between them never seemed to end well. Honestly, fans had even started to question if Carissa and Blueface actually had any real love for each other, given how often they take jabs at one another on social media. They'd go at it online, dragging each other in public, making people wonder if there was something deeper beneath the surface, or if it was all just for show. Now, for example, when Blueface proposed to Jaden, Carissa decided to act petty and shame him for it, saying, "Did this ninja propose to the maid? Oh well, it's October now, tell the people you marry the maid, just in case you go to prison." This made Blueface get so mad that he went on AR against his own mother, saying, "Post your ring and I'ma post mine. You want to compare booties, right, Carissa? Yeah, let's just compare rings. Let's see what type of ring that old booty got, and then what type of ring that new booty got. My wife going always when Carissa married a bum after all them D's she took, she settled for that little ring. My wife had 1D her whole life. You also said my mother is a been married 3 times, 3 kids by 3 different men, and never married none of them men, only random men she liked with a lot of money so she could divorce and take from them, and at the end of it all she's sleeping with a bum every night. Sad story for real. Could never respect her as a woman. My mom's ring is 1 carat with 5 stones surrounding it. I'm not even going to tell you Jaden ring credentials, is going to be embarrassing for real. The comparison is evident. If you got more than one baby daddy as a woman, it's that simple. Life is like a box of these, pick one and go. Y'all, at this point we have to wonder if she even likes her own son, because what type of mother and son duo do we have to look at on social media? It's disturbing to say the least when you add Chan to the mix. I think y'all can see how messy the story is going to get. I'm not even trying to throw shade though, but if we're being real for a millisecond, it was obvious from the moment that Chrisean announced that she was pregnant that this whole situation was bound to be a hot mess. I mean, come on, Blueface and Gone were already the definition of chaos. Nothing about their relationship screams stability or health. They are constantly wrapped up in drama, so throwing a baby into the mix was just a recipe for disaster waiting to happen, to absolutely nobody's surprise. Though it didn't take long for Blueface to start acting out. He didn't waste any time jumping on social media and claiming that the baby wasn't even his. The wildest rep, though. He accused Chan of trying to pass off another man's child as his own. At that point it was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Their back and forth had people shaking their heads, because it was the same chaotic energy they'd been giving off all along, just with the new layer of mess added on top, and it seemed like the more they tried to go public with their issues, the more complicated everything became. No one really knew what was real anymore. But one thing was for sure, their situation was never going to be anything close to calm or stable. Blueface tweeted to answer y'all's question, "Yes, me and Rock are officially done. It's strictly business. I tried it, and clearly it wasn't given." Before she announced she's pregnant with somebody else's child, not mine. Rock has had encounters with 10 different men in the last year until I see a DNA test, and it's not mine. It's not a Blueface baby. Blueface still wasn't a second when it came to denying that he was the father. From the moment the news broke, he was adamant, showing no hesitation, doubt, or uncertainty. In his response, he was firm in rejecting the idea and didn't entertain the thought for a second. Instead, he immediately insisted that Chrisean take a DNA test to put any questions to rest once and for all. There was of course a typical messy back and forth, and both of them had their own emotions and baggage tied up in the situation, but eventually Chan agreed to take the test. Once the results came back, it was clear Base was indeed the father. It says the alleged father is not excluded as the Biological father of the fetus, I mean you're the father babe, that's mean, you're your father, is not Ewing. If anyone believed that discovering he was the father would change his behavior or bring out any kind of remorse, we were all mistaken. Instead of stepping up or showing any type of improvement, his behavior took a turn for the worst. It didn't soften him in the slightest, if anything, and made him more aggressive with his approach. And he started putting pressure on Chrisean, trying to convince her to get rid of the baby, claiming that he was going to keep treating her the same way he always had. Badly, it was clear that he had no intention of being a supportive partner or a father. He would send texts to Chrisean saying things like, "I'm going to be a cheater forever, I'm not even going to hide it for real, you don't want to be stuck at home with a baby while I'm on the next young beat, a baby will make us stuck, and you don't want to be stuck with somebody like me, considering the way I already feel about you." He didn't just pressure her to end the pregnancy, he went a step further and tried to force her into it. When Chrisean stood her ground and refused to do so, Blueface didn't hold back. He took to Twitter and went on an explosive rant, publicly declaring that he didn't want the baby, making declare he had no intention of ever paying child support. It was like he wanted the whole world to know that he was washing his hands of the situation. He said, "Whoever the judge is on my child support case, I told this girl I don't want the baby, she still got time to get rid of it, and she forcing it on me, so you better make the price right. She trying to trap me, don't let her get you, she still got time to end all this now." Throughout Chan's pregnancy, Blueface made it abundantly clear to everybody that would read it, listen especially to her, that he had no desire to be involved with either her or the baby. From the moment the news broke, he was firm in his stance, repeatedly pressuring Chrisean to terminate the pregnancy, showing no signs of support or responsibility. His behavior was cold and distant, and it was clear that he had no intentions of stepping up as a father. Despite all of this, though, Chrisean kept pushing for Blueface to accept the baby, trying to convince him in the public that he was the father even though his actions indicated otherwise. But when the baby was born, Blueface completely changed his tune. Suddenly he was acting concerned and protective over the child and threatening to take custody from Kay if things didn't go his way. It was as if the birth of the baby flipped a switch in his mind, and now he was trying to present himself as a concerned father. The real shock came when Chan chose to leave Blueface off the birth certificate entirely. Rather than giving the baby his last name, she named the child after herself, giving the baby her first and last name, Chan Malone Jr. Not only did Blueface not make it onto the birth certificate, but she didn't even give the baby his last name throughout the pregnancy, though Chan had been vocal about the baby being Blueface's, doing everything she could to convince him and the world that he was the father in such a public and official way raises a lot of questions. It didn't add up for a lot of people, considering how much he had tried to push him into accepting the role of fatherhood. However, Chan later explained that by that time the baby was born, she and Blueface had broken up, which likely played a huge role in her decision to leave him off the birth certificate a week after Chrisean gave birth. It seemed like she and Blueface had worked things out somehow. They appeared to be back on a solid ground and everything seemed to be going smoothly. Blueface even flew out to Baltimore to visit her and the baby, and the pictures they share painted a picture of a happy reunited family. He spent some time bonding with the baby, looking like a proud father during their one-on-one moments, and at this point it would have made sense for Chrisean to add Blueface's name to the birth certificate. After all, they were back together, and things seemed to be improving, and he was present, spending time with the baby like a father should. This could have been the moment that made things official to solidify their relationship in the baby's paternity, and this decision raised a lot of eyebrows. If they were truly back on track, fans expected her to take that final step and put his name on that certificate, but she